Welcome, nature detectives. I'm Conrad Baker. I'm an outdoor educator for the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation at Letchworth State Park, and today I have a nature mystery for you. I'm joined today by a ferocious-looking animal. It's an animal that scares a lot of people this time of year, but using those nature clues, we can figure out what kind of animal this is and how it helps us every single day. We'll use just one nature tool today, and that's our eyes. Our nature mystery animal looks like this. Safely inside the scientific jar of science, we can get a really good look at it. The first thing we might notice about this animal are the colors on its body. I'm seeing some light colors on its head and some light colors on the very end of its body, on the tip of its abdomen, its hindmost body segment. In the middle of its body, on the middle body segment, the thorax, I'm seeing more or less all brown or even black, depending on the lighting there. So this is an animal with cream, maybe white or light color on the head and the end of the abdomen, and dark brown or black in the middle of its body. The second nature clue that we can use to figure out who this is its shape. Is this animal shaped more like a grain of rice or more like a lima bean? It's definitely longer than it is wide, but I would say this is more of a lima bean than a grain of rice. This is an animal that is pretty chunky and has especially a nice thick abdomen. The third nature clue that we can use to figure out who this is its smoothness. Looking closely, do you see any hairs or spikes or spines coming off of the main part of its body? No, it looks more or less to be smooth. It's not really fuzzy like a lot of other animals that look kind of like this. Let's put all those nature clues together. This is an animal that's more or less completely smooth. It's chunky like a lima bean instead of long like a grain of rice, and it has light whitish cream on its head and the end of its abdomen. This must be a bald-faced hornet. Now, an entomologist, an insect scientist, would right away notice that the name hornet is a little bit tricky for these guys because they're not truly a hornet. They're more closely related to yellow jackets, which are those familiar dangly-legged flying yellow garden insects that you might be familiar with. Bald-faced hornets at this time of year are getting ready for winter. Even though it's still the end of the summer, they are planning way ahead of time, and their queens are getting ready to hibernate. They're going to sleep through the winter, and a lot of their workers are going to die. That's just part of their natural life cycle. The queens will survive the winter and then fly off in the spring to go establish new colonies, which will start to build their new nests. Their nests are made essentially out of paper mache. If you've ever used wet pieces of paper all blended together and then squeezed them and let them dry into a nice sheet, that's essentially what bald-faced hornets do. They make a nice outer covering to their nests made out of chewed up wood pulp that they chew up in their strong mandibles, their strong jaws. Then they spit up into these nice sheets and let them dry into these beautiful, well-protected nests. Inside the nests are classic honeycomb-shaped chambers where they start to raise their babies in the spring and the summer. Those babies require a lot of food to grow up as quickly as they do. It only takes them about 2 weeks to go from an egg to an adult bald-faced hornet. And to achieve that incredible feat, they need a lot of high-protein insect food. Adult bald-faced hornets are excellent hunters of a lot of garden insects that could be considered pests, kinds of caterpillars or other kinds of insects that will eat our garden plants or eat our trees or get into our food. Bald-faced hornets are excellent allies in our fight to maintain a balance around where we live in our garden ecosystems. If you really want to put your nature detective skills to the test, try to find some bald-faced hornets in your neighborhood. Of course, being very careful to give them a wide berth, give them lots of distance. 10 feet at a very minimum is a great idea. You'll be able to see their nests from a distance, and at this time of year, you'll probably be able to see the workers going in and out as they're preparing for winter. Well, thank you so much for joining me for today's nature mystery. If you have any questions about bald-faced hornets or other types of social wasps that live in New York State, please put a question in the comment section below the video. Share this video with your friends to put their nature detective skills to the test. And as always, like Letchworth State Park's Facebook page to stay tuned for more nature mysteries.